What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Replayer Podcast. I'm your host this week, Dan. Joining me, of course, is my lovely co-host, Pagan.
Hello.
And also the lovely Erika, a.k.a. Ondawan. Ondawan? How is
Ondawan.
it? Ondawan. I know that.
We were just talking about this.
I was like, he's so doing that on purpose.
Okay.
Ondawan.
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 One.
It was just a subtle poke at Nolan. I'm sorry. Anyways, welcome to the Replayer Podcast, everyone. How is everybody doing today?
Good.
Well, welcome back, Erika. Glad to have you back on the show.
Thank you.
So, first of all, we don't have a retro replay this week.
No.
But that's okay. We're still here. We're still talking all things video games, pop culture, and retro replay. So to get us started, I just want to point out that we didn't get an episode this week, and it was quote to retro replay. They're hard at work on something special for next week's episode. So that's gonna just something we can look forward to. And this week we'll just move on to our timely topics, and we can discuss those with our guest Erika today.
Yeah. Yay!
So
excellent.
The big one that I wanted to discuss this week, and I'm going to jump right into, was the D.I.C.E Awards. They happened yesterday.
Woo-hoo.
As of this recording. Did you guys happen to watch the D.I.C.E Awards?
I didn't watch it. I just saw the results.
That's what I did too. Yeah, I saw the results and I was like, look at all these fun games.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hades cleaned house.
Yeah.
Just
so that's the big news.
Floor with everybody.
Hades crushed it.
Hades crushed it. And Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, Ghost too.
It's incredible.
And the one I was most happy about was the sports game of the year was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I was so happy.
That's actually a great shout. I think that something like Tony Hawk would win the sports game of the year, because as soon as the category came up in the event, and I'm like, it's probably gonna be like FIFA or something, because FIFA is generally considered one of the better sports games as far as I know. But I'm like, it's gonna be something dumb. And then I saw Tony Hawk, and I'm like, oh, all right, that's surprising.
And funny story, I've actually met him a few times.
Tony Hawk?
What?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. So I grew up in California till I was like 12, and I went to elementary school with his son Riley. And so Tony would come all the time to pick up Riley from school. And a couple of times he actually brought Shaun White with him. What? And I was like, you're so pretty.
Oh my God. That is such a how old were you?
Yeah. I have no idea. I was young.
My brain went to mush when I saw Tony and Shaun.
Fair.
Yeah, I was like, hi. And I had no idea till I was older, like how important they are. And I was like, what?
Aww.
So that's my biggest flex in life.
That's really cool. That's
Great
really cool.
story.
So you went to elementary school with Tony's kid.
Yeah, it was
That's
awesome.
kind of cool.
It was very nice.
Nice. But you're not in California now, right?
No, I'm in Utah now.
Utah?
Yeah.
What brought you to Utah from California?
So I lived in California. I was 12. Then I lived in Texas till I was 19, almost 20. And then I moved to Utah because I'm Mormon LDS. And I came out here to meet guys.
What does LDS mean?
So Latter-day Saints. So have you heard like Mormons?
I was going to say like Mormon AF, like Mormon as fuck.
Yeah. No, I don't. I mean, I've heard the term loosely. I don't actually quite understand what that is.
It's a Christian
Reading
church,
culture.
essentially.
Yeah.
In a nutshell.
Okay.
It's Christian.
He went to Utah to meet guys.
Oh,
to meet Mormon
All right,
men?
please.
Like
Yeah.
what? Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
so sharing the
like,
same
Elaborate.
religion. And Utah is where a vast majority of Mormons live.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Yeah.
this now makes sense. All right, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So I pretty much dated all the guys in my area, and I was like, nah, I don't like these guys. So I moved to Utah. And a year later, I met my now husband, and it worked.
Ah,
Well,
so he's
congratulations.
Mormon Latter-day Saints
Thank
as
you.
well.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was so nice. And we're actually coming up on our 7-year anniversary next month.
Wow.
Wait, you've been married for 7 years?
Yeah.
How old were you when you got married? This is probably really a
21.
personal question.
It's okay.
Wow.
I was 21.
Wow.
I'm turning 28 on Monday.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll have
Happy
birthdays on
birthday.
Monday.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, by the time this podcast comes out, you will
Your
be
birthday will
28.
have happened. So yeah, like,
Ooh, I'm 1 year
So-
closer to 30. Yay.
Shut up. I am 30 this year. Like, so you can pipe down over there, Erika.
Dave's hiding his face.
I'm as young as I look.
Yeah, yeah.
So 17?
Yes. Let me
Very
shave
nice.
real quick. Hang on.
What side are you on, Erika? Like, God.
Pagan, you look stunning as always.
Thank you. No, that's amazing. I didn't realize. There you go. That's amazing.
That's me.
So if anybody out there is looking for some Mormon men, you know, that's
Mormon
where it's at.
action.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mormon
Is that okay?
LDS
Is that what you guys call it?
hotties.
Well,
Right,
Mormon
Utah.
is like the slang term, but
Oh.
we generally go by LDS because the entire name of the church is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And that's a mouthful. It's like saying shield, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And so, you know, we had to narrow it down. So we typically go by LDS.
I see. But all of those
Alright.
single LDS hotties are out in Utah,
Oh yeah.
apparently.
Utah.
So
Utah's
head on
really
out.
pretty.
Head on out.
Mm. Speaking of mouthfuls, I was going to say the definition for the word dice, but I don't actually know what dice stands for. I just know that it's the D.I.C.E Awards, which is run by the Academy of Interactive
You
Arts
should
and
know
Sciences.
this. Wait, you should know. What does this
I
stand
did
for?
look it up. I don't have it in front of me. I apologize. I just
So
know.
that-
Shoot.
Dice are fancy math rocks.
The problem is when I hear DICE, my brain instinctively goes to the production studio, DICE, that makes Battlefield. And I know that DICE, the studio, and DICE, the awards, are different things.
Oh, wait, I can do that too. Hold on.
You can do it too. DICE!
I have 2 drawers full of dice. Yes!
There it is.
They're so pretty.
Thank you. My friend Tina got them for me, and I've never seen dice that has more accurately represented me as a person. Like,
Seriously,
they're
they're
just
perfect.
so like they're sparkly and shit. They're adorable. Anyway,
Aw.
there
So
you
we've
go. I
effectively
have
got
dice.
distracted by shiny things.
I'm sorry. We got distracted by shit. It's Erica's fault.
It
I
is my
blame
fault.
Erika.
I'm very good at this. I'm so sorry. Keep going.
No, I'm going to look up the
You
the
look it up.
definition for this because you should know.
But
I just oh, I have it. Sorry. So go ahead.
I was
There's
going to
the
say,
DICE Awards, and DICE being the acronym for Design, Innovate, Communicate, Entertain.
yes, I did look that up. I forgot to note it. I apologize. I was more
That's
focused
fine.
on the agency
Do
that
better,
created it.
Dan.
Which is the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences,
Okay.
established
fine.
in 1996. They recognize
you did do
games,
research,
individuals, and development teams for their contributions and advancements in the entertainment software industry. I am better, Pagan. Deal with
Just because you're reading it off of Wikipedia right now
No,
doesn't
I
make you
have
better,
it
Dan.
noted. I'm not Googling. I don't have the Pagan Googles.
Okay, that's fine.
The baby
I'll let
Anyways.
you away with it. It's fine.
Anyways, everyone simmer down. The DICE Awards happened yesterday. There's 23 categories with games being nominated. Of those nominations, we had, of course, The Last of Us Part 2, which was nominated for 11 awards and won 2.
Only 2.
Only two.
Wow.
Ori and the Will of the Wisp, Half-Life Alyx were also nominated for 5. Hades was nominated for 7 and won 5, including Game of the Year, which is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, they cleaned house.
On that note, were any of you guys surprised that like Hades and Ghost of Tsushima outwon The Last of Us?
Yeah, 100%. Given the success at like the BAFTAs and stuff like that as well, I was just kind of like, and the Game Awards, I was like, surely they're going to take home a lot more than just 2 awards. But then Hades, I feel like, was kind of like not an underdog, but like the dark horse. Nobody kind of expected it to be taking control of award ceremonies like that. But fuck. Fair play. I've actually never played it. I've seen a lot of it on like Twitch and things like that as well.
Yeah.
And it looks like such a fantastic
Hades
game,
is great
and
if you haven't
I heard
played
it's
it.
very well written. Yeah.
I was surprised, yet I wasn't at the same time. Just because of like the controversy between The Last of Us.
Mhm.
And then the part that surprised me the most was that Hades Oh dear.
Oh, hi.
Is calling?
No, my alarm was going off.
Lol.
Was that it came out in 2018.
Technically, yes, in early access.
Yeah, so it's like it kind of started in 2018 and kind of just like gradually became this huge momentum, and then it just like burst.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I was genuinely impressed about the build up for that game.
Mm-hmm. For those who haven't played Hades, like the writing in it is just so fantastic. Like the writing alone, on top of the gameplay being great, and the animations and the artwork is stunning in that game. But the writing is like, that's what keeps you going, because the writing is so freaking good, and it's so smart, because it's a roguelite game. For those who might not know, like the style of the game, where it's this like fight, die, repeat process. And in most roguelites, there's very little progression, but this Hades has just done it so smartly, where when you die, the game acknowledges it every time. So you'll die, and when you come back, there's always a character right there like, so you died again, huh? Sucks. You suck, basically. And it's like, okay, like, and it's every time. It doesn't miss a beat.
Dang, that's pretty cool.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I watched a couple of friends play it on Twitch, so that was a lot of fun to kind of actually see the gameplay without having done it myself.
Mm-hmm.
I have it. It was
pretty.
on sale on Steam at one point for like €15 or something like that. Like it had dropped down in price, and I was like, well,
Nice.
I've heard a lot of great things about this. And this is before it won any awards. I was like, I've heard a lot of great things about it. I'm just going to add it to my library. So I do. I have it. I just haven't had the chance to play it yet. So I'm very excited to get to that.
The DICE Awards definitely made me happy, because for anyone who knows me, like I was more of a stalwart, I guess, for Ghost of Tsushima. Like I think that game is actually breathtaking and beautiful, and it got some of the more prestigious awards, I think, for like outstanding the
audio design.
Yeah, it got original music composition and audio design.
Yeah.
Both of them.
That's right.
It got best adventure game of the year, or most like adventure game of the year. Game direction. Like,
it's incredible.
Yeah.
For it to beat out Last of Us in those departments, I thought was pretty impressive. And it's not like The Last of Us hasn't gotten awards. It's not like it hasn't gotten recognition. So I think it's great that these other games are also getting recognition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think like, what did The Last of Us win? Outstanding achievement in animation.
Outstanding achievement in story.
And in story. Okay, well that's fair. And that seems accurate. I think like for Hades to take home like the most prestigious awards, so game of the year, game direction, game design, action game of the year, like that's a lot. Like it's just really like it in the big main categories. And I guess a lot of people would be like, oh, I wonder which one won this category. It's usually those ones, right? It's the same with the Oscars, same with the BAFTAs, Golden Globes, everything. So that's incredible. They really did well.
Yeah. They did so well.
Some other ones to shout out on this list too are the outstanding achievement in character, which went to Miles Morales. Which
so cool.
That was such a good game.
That's epic, I think. I haven't played Miles Morales yet, but I know enough about the first game and what's happening in the second game to understand. Like that's incredible. That Miles Morales, like that alone makes me think, okay, it's time. I gotta actually play this game.
Yeah, which is so interesting because Abby has won out a lot. Like Laura Bailey's performance as Abby has won out in everything. And as just like outstanding achievement in character, and I just think Miles is such a perfect character for that game, and to bring in like, I don't know, just like a diversity, comedy. Like he's just the perfect new Spider-Man, if that makes sense.
He is.
Miles Morales' character is really well done in that game. Highly recommend going to play it. Oh, yeah. It's incredible.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. The other one I wanted to shout out here, too, is Half-Life Alyx, because it won both Immersive Reality Technical Achievement and Immersive Reality Game of the Year. So Half-Life Alyx basically won VR Game of the Year, essentially. Yes. And that's another game that I think if more people had a VR headset or access to one, it would have gotten a lot more recognition. Oh, yeah. And also, Alex, the title character in that game, is voiced by Meryl Dandridge. And
yeah.
Yeah. So that's another big I don't know the wording I want to use as far as just like the diversity portfolio of like what it means to have different types of characters in games. And watching gameplay of Half-Life Alyx is like, okay, I need to get a freaking VR headset so I can play this game. Because I've been kind of like dismissing VR for a while, but it's starting to become more and more of a viable option.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been fun. I watched Jacksepticeye play Half-Life Alyx when I think they came out with the demo or something like that, and he played it, and I was like, dude, this looks so good.
Yeah.
I was very impressed. Like, just like the picking up of the objects, the actual shooting and moving around. I was super impressed.
Yeah. It looks incredible.
Yeah.
I actually have Half-Life Alyx too, and I haven't been able to play it because I don't have a headset.
Oh, no way. We got to get a headset.
Yeah.
Do it.
And it's funny because I didn't know I had it until I looked at my Steam library one day and I saw Half-Life Alyx sitting in my library, and I'm like, how? And then I remembered I have a while back I got awarded this Steam Pass thing that gave me access to like every Valve game. And at the time, this was back in like 2015. So my Steam library, I got every Valve game ever was added to my library. And I'm like, this is awesome. Sweet. Awesome. But it works proactively. So I got Half-Life Alyx too.
What?
Oh,
I was like, that's
dope.
What?
That is awesome. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm
I
not
thought
jealous.
that was crazy. So I was like, shit, now I got to get a headset so I can play this game. And no surprise, I think on this list, family game of the year went to, who do you think?
Animal Crossing.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Right?
No, it was Animal
Crossing.
Crossing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so cute.
It is such a good game. I played it for, I am not sure I want to look at how many hours I played.
Go onto your Switch right now and look at your game list and then see where it says how many hours you've put into the game.
I've probably only put like 3 hours into that game. Because I think at the time I just wasn't in, like, I was like, oh, I'm going to check the hype about this game and I'm going to play it. And then I just kind of fell off the wagon. I was like, nah, I don't like this anymore. I think this is kind of boring. And recently, I've just gotten back into it. I was like, okay, I'm just going to start again. And it's so cute. I love it.
I should take you to my island.
Ooh.
Yes. I would love to visit your island.
Yes. Yes, please.
Yeah, it's so cute. I think it's a really great game. I will say, though, great shout to Fall Guys, obviously. Great game.
Yeah.
And Astro's Playroom.
Oh my gosh, that was such a good game.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's so great. But at the same time, like, Astro's Playroom really is what, like, PlayStation 5 exclusive because it's trying to show you the demo of, like, the game. So I'm kind of like, well, like, it's just such a small category of people playing that right now because the PlayStation 5 is quite limited to try and get your hands on. So I'm glad that it was nominated, though, because that game is just so cute and so well put together. The references in there are just... It's such a small category of people to play it right now that I'm glad Animal Crossing won out, honestly. Good game.
Me too. That helped a lot of people through the pandemic.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people attribute that a lot of the success of that game was kind of because of the pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Makes sense.
And I need to actually commit to trying to play that game. I've played it a bit. I've put maybe 5 to 10 hours into it. But every time I think about playing Animal Crossing, I end up just playing Stardew Valley.
I need to get back into that.
I have.
Stardew Valley is great.
Yeah. I haven't got it on Switch. I have it on PC, but I am so tempted to also get this on Switch.
I have it on Switch and Xbox.
It's so addictive. Like, it is so addictive to play that I'm like, I just want to continue playing this away from The Office. So I'm like, I really need to get this on Switch. Like, I really need to just pick it up on Switch.
Yeah.
So I looked at a previous chat with a friend talking about the hours we've played in Animal Crossing.
And
guess
32.
I would guess.
Is that a really
80.
stupid number? Oh, that's way. Oh,
117.
Oh wow! Oh, my guess was way under. I'm so sorry.
You underestimate my gaming obsession.
I underestimate
You underestimate
Erika.
my power.
I'm sorry. I apologize
I forgive
completely
you.
for underestimating. Yeah, I can see that. I can see how you would. Yeah, I can see how you would spend that. Yeah. Nice. Yep. That makes sense to me.
Gotta build the relationships with your villagers because you got to get their photos. And I put their photos. Once you reach like the maximum level of friendship, you get their photos. And I've put them all over in my like house's laundry room. So I have a bunch of pictures of like the Islanders that I actually like. They have come.
Cute.
There are some that are just freaking creepy, like the clown goat.
Oh my God, what?
Ugh.
Make Nolan play it.
Oh.
Anything with a clown, honestly, I'm like, make Nolan play it. I'm a horrible person.
That April Fool's
I'm a
episode
horrible
was hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Glad you liked it though.
That
was your
totally
brainchild, right?
That was
it
my
really?
brainchild. Yeah.
Dude, outstanding.
Thank you.
Because
Thank
it
you.
sounded legit. Because it was like,
Right.
yeah, I can see this actually happening. And so I totally bought into it till the end. And I was like, gosh dang it.
I thought like it could be reasonable. Like it's not completely unreasonable that would be a thing because clowns are big, and also like it's not particularly just clown. Like you could do anything with mime, with slapstick, with like Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin. Like I could see the vision of this movie that Warner Brothers were going to make. And then I just threw in names that I thought would be hilarious, and I knew that Nolan could do impressions of. And then Meryl Streep, obviously, because it was the only woman that I was like, actually, I think if she's on board, this is gonna like get them, like you're gonna hook them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I really enjoyed their reaction when they found out that was not true.
That was so good.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
John just being like, what the fuck?
I know. I just like Nolan's face as well when he found out, and he's like, "Wait, are you really joking?" Like this, a smile on his face was like, "Did you really had me?" And I was like, "Oh, that's adorable."
Oh,
I'm glad that worked so well, and I was anxious for like 2 weeks, being like, "How did it go?" And he's like, "Yeah, very well." Like Drew was just like, "Yeah, it went well." I was like, "Okay, I guess I'll see."
wait till it airs.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time. And then like people in chat as well were so duped as well. Like I wasn't typing, purposely not typing during that whole story while they were saying it, and everyone in chat was like, "Wait, really? Oh my God, that sounds like a fucking weird movie." Like all this kind of stuff, and I was like,
Tee hee hee.
I couldn't be in the chat that day, so I'm so sad I missed it.
Gosh. There's a
Gosh.
lot of people duped by it because as soon as it was like revealed, the whole chat blew up with, "Oh, you had me."
Payin.
Yeah.
She's strong.
Yeah, that was us. We made that up. That was hilarious.
Let's see.
Yeah, it was a good time.
I also love that Microsoft Flight Simulator won a game for Strategy Sim Game of the Year.
Oh, did they really strategy game of the year?
I thought
It
that was
won
great.
a technical achievement too, I believe.
Did it really? Let's see.
Isn't it supposed to be
Or am
incredibly
I mistaken? I could be wrong, but it did win the flight
Accurate?
simulator, the sim game of the year.
Yeah.
something like that? Yeah, it's supposed to be quite accurate or something. So yeah,
Mhm.
props to them. That really made the rounds on YouTube gaming
Yeah.
for a while, I've got to say. Like Jacksepticeye played that quite a few
Mhm.
times. Quite a few other streamers also played it. And I was like, this is the oddest game.
I tried playing it a couple of times and I just immediately kept crashing before I even got off the runway.
I would be so frustrated and I would absolutely rage quit. That's why sometimes I
Same.
watch other people play.
I was
Yeah.
really excited to play it. And then I was like, I
Oh.
can't get the plane off the ground.
Oh,
Oh,
that's so sad.
yeah, I would outright suck at that game.
Yeah.
Don't even need to pick it up and know. I just know that I would suck at that game.
Yep.
Yup.
All right. So
Yeah.
the other big thing that I wanted to talk about and bring up to discuss on this podcast today for the D.I.C.E Awards, it was hosted by Greg Miller and Jessica Chobot, who have been the host of the D.I.C.E Award for the last 4 years.
Mhm.
But this year they also had the added guest host of Kahlief Adams, who is the host of the Spawn on Me podcast. And he also conducted and ran numerous panels that happened over the course of the D.I.C.E Award. So if you watch it live, whenever they talk about a certain category of award, it would usually cut to a panel where Kahlief was kind of hosting a panel, talking to different people from the different developers who were nominated, having back and forth discussions about, what efforts they put in, the hard work that they had to do, acknowledging other people's accomplishments. And then it would ultimately end with him awarding the award to whoever one in. And I wanted to talk about Kahlief Adams a little bit because, like last week, we talked about women in esports and gaming. I wanted to talk about Kahlief because I feel like he is in the running for kind of having similar strides in diversity within the culture of games media, journalism, podcasting. And I say this fully acknowledging that we are a panel of white people here talking about a colored person, but I want to stress that how much this means to me, and I would hope it means to anyone else, of how special that is, that this man has had kind of like an astronomical rise in presence over the last couple of years. So I wanted to throw it out to you guys. I know, Pagan, you know Kahlief through Cloud9.
I don't know him.
Right, you know of him. I mean, you know of him.
Misguided.
Yeah, let me give him a call real quick. No, yeah. I know of him through Cloud9's podcast, Presence of Mind. I think it's on every 2 weeks or something with Greg Miller and Alana Pierce as well. And this is a really interesting podcast because a lot of the time they're talking about like mental health in gaming, and I think the most recent one was trolling in gaming and stuff. And it's just an incredibly interesting podcast with completely diverse opinions, and then it is live with a chat and everything, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, I think what he's doing for like people of color in the industry as well, because his podcast that you mentioned, Spawn on Me, is, you know, just to spotlight people of color in the games industry. That's incredible, and I think it's so needed. Like it is 100%. So needed and so necessary to have showcasing people of color, having more diversity throughout the industry, because it's just necessary, and I don't see why it shouldn't have been like this all along.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the world is a perfect place. So, and I think, like, I don't know, I think it touches me more like growing up in South Africa and being surrounded by so many cultures and so many people who are so diverse, and then coming to Ireland, where that diversity has whittled down to white people, either Eastern European or just Irish. You know what I mean? So it's like in South Africa, we have a lot of cultures, and we have Portuguese, and we have Zulu, and then we have different factions of culture within like the east of Africa that they would all kind of come down to South Africa. It just like, I just think it's really necessary to highlight diversity and culture because we're human, and that's human experience to interact with each other and learn from each other about who we are and where we come from, and also to be treated the same because we are all human. So I think what Kahlief is doing is fantastic, honestly.
And I recently learned about him too because of the D.I.C.E Awards. I wasn't aware of him till then, and so I have like a bunch of tabs pulled up about him because he seems like the coolest dude to have a conversation with. And I am so ready to start listening to his podcast because it sounds incredible. Just like, even just from the titles alone for Spawn on Me, I'm just like, oh, I want to listen to that. Like, no Sony soup for you, stuff like that. And I'd recently gotten into watching this travel vloggers, Kara and Nate, and they went to 100 countries, and the immense cultures and everywhere that they went is so absolutely fascinating that it boggles my mind that the world in general doesn't want to know that kind of stuff, or like wants to accept it, because it is absolutely beautiful. And it just like, it absolutely breaks my heart, because it's like, I don't remember where they went, but they had gone somewhere where the majority were, I think it was actually in Africa, and they didn't speak the language. They just kind of had to just figure things out. And the kindness that those people showed just these small tourists, like, inspires me to be a better person. I'm like, why does the world not want this kind of stuff? It makes me sad, but also I'm really happy that he is making these kinds of strides. So then people like myself can learn more. And that's exactly what it's about.
I can easily say that I find Kahlief to be a personal inspiration to myself, not only as a podcaster, but as a journalist too, because he is doing essentially what I hope to do and achieve myself, and he's got this podcast that he started on his own. He's, personally funded it. He's been working on it out of pocket, not too dissimilar to what Pagan and I have done with this podcast here. Yeah. So I look at what he's done and what he's accomplished over the last 6 years since he started Spawn on Me. And it fills me with inspiration and hope. And not only in general, but because of the diversity factor that we need this as a culture, as a civilization, for people to become more accustomed to this. And I will say too that my own personal background was I grew up in a small town in the middle of New York that was predominantly white people, much like you talked about in Ireland there, Pagan.
Literally, it's so bad here in Ireland. I mean, it's not like terrible, especially if you go into cities, like you will see more diversity and people of color. Mm-hmm. But in small town Ireland, like you just don't. And it's not that like they're unwelcoming to it. I think it's just because we're a really fucking small country. Nobody wants to come here. No, but like it's such a stark difference from South Africa.
The other point I was going to make there too is the process that I went through growing up in that small town in New York was I was surrounded by a lot of stereotypes. Well, not stereotypes, but stereotype people, like people who believed in stereotypes and people who were very racist or had these strong opinions about people I had never met or experienced or seen. And then I went into the military and I didn't know that. Thrown right into, a lot of it happens like every other week on this podcast.
I know.
Every other week. So everyone out there, I was in the military. I served in the U.S. Navy from 2005 to 2009. Don't think about how old I am. Just
don't think about how old I am.
But I went from living in a small town, rural, part of a state that, it was all white people. We had I think one token black guy. And then I got thrown into the mixing pot that is the military. Mm-hmm. And then I traveled. I went all over the world. I went to a lot of like the Pacific, I've been to countries all over the world and I've experienced all these different cultures, and I got to meet and know people firsthand. And all I could think is like, everybody's wrong. Mm-hmm. All these people I grew up with and lived with and told me how life was were wrong. And that's just, that in itself is wrong. So it makes me happy to see this kind of progression. Mm-hmm. And I only hope to help fix things myself as much as I can, and especially when we're in a time of, I don't want to be, I'm the man, like I am literally the man. I am a white male living in America and I want to do better, so that's why this means a lot to me. Yeah. And I worked in a public school district with underprivileged children. And I had to tell kids that too. Like, I might look like the man, but I'm honestly here to help you. I want to make you better.
Yeah. And it's been really interesting for me on my side. I have 3 adopted Black cousins, and watching all this stuff go around in the world and things that they've posted and their experience breaks my heart even more, because I've known them pretty much their whole lives. And being able to see people like Kahlief getting out there, putting out all of this fantastic content that I'm about to go and binge the crap
Consume
out of.
The shit out of that.
Oh, yeah. And like even directing them to some of these people and being like, hey, these guys do video games. You should get into video games, stuff like that. And all I want is to see my cousins happy and not afraid. And so I try, like, even just as a white person in general, it's hard to understand them. And, because like sometimes I'll go to them myself and say, what would you like me to do? Because I don't want to assume, and make things worse. And they're just so kind and just like be supportive of us. I'm like, I can so easily do that because in my brain, I can't wrap my head around racism because it is the stupidest thing I have ever heard. Because all it is assumptions of people you've probably never met. Exactly like Dan was talking about, like meeting all those people. It's like, oh, they're all wrong. It's like, that's exactly what it is. Those people are all wrong. These people are people. They're our brothers and our sisters, and we're going to support them every step of the way. I'm very passionate about this.
As I feel we all are.
I think
here.
we all are. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, you're right. I think like it was incredible to see Kahlief host, I guess guest host on the D.I.C.E Awards and share panels and stuff like that. It's just really important, I guess, to see people of color in and around games media because it's necessary. Diversity is needed.
They deserve to be there.
They deserve to be there. Everybody does.
Exactly.
Everybody deserves to be there, no matter who you are.
No matter who
Gaming
you are.
is fun.
I feel like we're gonna end in a group hug. Like it's like everybody group hug. Everybody get in.
Oh, that would be nice.
It was really interesting, and he's a very insightful person. So.
Yeah, shout out again to Kahlief Adams and everything that he's done over the last few years, and I only wish I could have found you sooner, dude. Like seriously. If you haven't listened to this, Kahlief, your podcast is very inspiring. I've been listening to it the last couple of weeks, and I find it shocking just how much I kind of like attune with it, for lack of a better term at the moment. Like it just it sits with me, right? As a person, as a gamer. And I think that speaks a lot for what he's doing because, like you said, it's a podcast it's about highlighting Black people within the industry. But I can listen to it and just think, this is perfect, and I appreciate everything that's being talked about or discussed. And Kahlief just sounds like such a cool dude. I would love to just hang out with him and play some Mortal Kombat or sometime with him because I know he likes playing Mortal Kombat.
That would be so fun.
Yeah.
I'd watch that live stream.
I've also been catching him on IGN's Unlocked podcast, and I'm right there with him and everything every time they're talking about stuff on that podcast. So keep up the good work, dude.
Yeah. Fantastic.
All right. Why don't we move on to some retro replay chat this week? We don't have the show to talk about, but we did have a trailer talk where Pagan and crew, yes, Pagan, watched the Suicide Squad trailer, the new James Gunn Suicide Squad, which that was good. I enjoyed that trailer talk.
It was great.
Good.
I say that because I don't enjoy all trailer talks, but that one was a good one.
Whoa.
Wow.
Hold on. It's
Okay.
well known.
Hold up.
It's well known that I was not a fan of the Godzilla vs. Kong one. So.
Okay, no, that's fair.
Oh, that's true.
You warned me about that one before it happened.
I actually did. I mentioned it to you before we even went on there. I was like, listen, buddy.
It's going to be a rough one for you.
It's going to be rough. It's not going to be good.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to get into that one a little bit. I think that was a great trailer talk. Let's go right to Erika and ask her how you like that.
Yeah. So I actually already tweeted about this, but watching Pagan and Stephanie just let loose their DC talk.
I'm excited for this movie. Well, and I like that it's kind of like somebody quoted it as it's like a mix of a gritty 1970s war movie combined with like James Gunn's writing.
Two moments that did get me that were like, oh, that's cool, which is the first one when Harley's like, I could just go back in, you guys could save me then. It's like, oh, because Harley's just like, oh, I just love Harley Quinn.
Like absolutely inspired me because I'm the same way when it comes to Marvel. So I tweeted out, I was like, I need a segment of Pagan and Stephanie just talking about DC, like their favorite stuff and their favorite comics, like anything. I would love to hear that because when it comes to
take note of that when we bring stuff back on,
Right?
Pagan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll yeah.
It was awesome because I love it when the trailer talks turn into passion, especially when PJ goes into like some of these.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't call them tangents, but that seems to be the best word I can think of. When he just spews facts and all sorts of stuff, and I just sit there like hands on my chin, just like, oh my gosh, tell me more, because it's so interesting and I learned something new every time.
Yeah.
And I'm just straight up excited for Suicide Squad.
His sharing about the production schedule that Suicide Squad faced was fascinating.
That was intense, and that the godfather to his children is Nathan Fillion. I was like,
it's so cool.
bro, that's so cool.
I know, right?
Hi, kitty.
It's so cool.
That
Oh,
was
hi, kitty.
fantastic. Yes, my kitty is running around.
Yeah. What did you think, Dan?
Well, are we talking about the trailer talk or the trailer itself?
Well, the trailer. Well, oh yeah, either way.
I'll start with that. I'll start with
Whatever
the
you
trailer then.
want.
I will say I watched the trailer for Suicide Squad, and it definitely made me, as a non-DC movie fan, think, ooh, this one's got my attention.
Yes.
Because of course it's James Gunn, his signature style. Like it just oozed James Gunn throughout the entire trailer.
He's so brilliant.
I love James Gunn. I've been a fan of his since Slither.
God, that was so creepy.
Such a crazy movie. Nathan Fillion also.
Oh, really? He's in that?
Yeah, he stars in it.
Oh, so cool.
It's a great movie. You should check it out. It's gross, but it's great.
I won't. I've seen the cover and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna. Thanks. I'll pass.
And then
5 minutes.
was it PJ or Drew that said that every James Gunn movie has the one actor in it? I forget his name off the top of my head now. He played
Is it his brother?
Yondu in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, fudge. What is his name?
You want to
Did he
Google
say
it real
that?
quick?
Every James Gunn movie has
He
that?
was in Slither. It just now clicked in my brain. He was in Slither, and he's in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Michael Rooker.
That's it.
That's his
Michael
name.
Rooker.
And
I
that was
did
driving
not
me
know
insane.
that.
And he's
Like
in
obviously I know Sean
Suicide
Gunn's
Squad.
in it. He's fucking hilarious.
Ah.
I love
He's
Sean
so
Gunn.
good.
Just yes.
He does the
We
body
stand.
doubling for Rocket. Marvel
He's
movies.
so funny. Like
He's
yeah,
so
I
funny.
I love Sean Gunn. I like him from the Gilmore Girls days. As Kurt.
Right.
Yeah.
I've forgotten about that.
For Kurt. Yeah.
Just the fact that he was in that.
Yeah. He's a great character in that because he started as a walk-on.
Mm.
He started as like a walk-on part that was like, hi, we're delivering like satellite TV to your house because your mom paid for it. And he had a different name. I think it has like a name like Nick or something. And then a couple episodes later, like they obviously loved him so much and they wrote him into the show and his name's Kurt. And he's
That's
just
so good.
really oddball character that like tries different jobs or whatever. It's just
I've only ever watched
It's
random
a mood.
episodes of that show with varying relationships, and I've never really paid attention to it. And there's always something about the way the show was filmed that made me annoyed, because throughout every episode of Gilmore Girls, the characters always keep talking. There's never breaks. There's never
Yes!
pauses. And that drives me crazy.
I don't mind that because I don't like silence, but Adam hates it.
Yeah, I hate that. It
Yeah,
drives
Adam-
me crazy.
If I was watching it, Adam would be like, I can't
Like,
just be in
nobody
the same
talks
room
like
here.
this. There's never constant dialogue at all
Yeah.
times.
No one is
I-
that articulate.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody always has a response to anything that everyone says at any given time.
It's like no one is that quick-witted. Well, some people. Nolan is.
Anyways,
people.
that
Nolan
being said,
is. Yeah.
James Gunn, I think, is an amazing director, and I am very excited for Suicide Squad. I think it definitely fits in my niche of what I want from a movie, and it takes the DC franchise that I'm not as familiar with, much like Guardians of the Galaxy, and brings it kind of into my limelight to check it out. And then to the trailer talk, I already said that like that story that PJ shared was, phenomenal. And I latched onto that pretty hard, and I was like, this is great, like insight and background. So, and then even like Nolan was saying that just it hooked him. Like he doesn't know anything about these characters, but it just looks like it fits in his wheelhouse.
Mhm.
So
It so does.
Yeah.
it definitely
Oh
has
my
like Nolan's
goodness.
sense of humor.
Yeah. The bag of dicks joke especially.
And I think that was a great version for this movie, that it doesn't take itself too seriously.
Yeah.
That's probably the smartest thing they can do. And I think that's almost been DC's problem. And some of the newer DC movies seem to lean away from that more so. They don't take themselves too seriously.
And that's what makes the Marvel movies really good too, is because they have that healthy mix of drama and action slipped in with a little bit of humor. And that's what really makes it work, amongst other things, but that's a big part of it.
I feel like, and I've said this in the show, like sometimes the humor does fall flat because it does feel very like generalized, and it's just kind of like sometimes, especially with Marvel do this as well, where they'll insert too many jokes and you're like, oh, you should have cut back at least 2 or 3 jokes and that moment would have been amazing. Like, that kind of thing.
I've never
like
felt that way with
me.
Marvel movies, though.
It depends on the movie. Like, it depends on the movie. Sometimes they do it with like Thor movies and stuff, and like
well, that's just it. Is the first 2 Thor movies were really dry.
Yeah.
It was only until Ragnarok where Taika Waititi. Thank you.
Waititi,
he's the one that kind of said, just go with it and have fun. And a lot of the lines in Ragnarok were ad-libbed, I think.
Oh yeah.
So
and that's like, I really enjoy that humor,
I love Ragnarok,
but I do
though,
also think that like, it does contrast a little bit.
I guess this is just American humor that I love Ragnarok for that reason.
Ragnarok was so good. I just finished my entire watch through of the MCU universe again. And I'm just gonna throw this out there. Thor Dark World was not as bad as I remembered.
Same.
It was not that bad.
I actually like Dark World.
Yeah, I did too. I finished watching it and I was like, that was pretty good.
It's all right. Like, all of them are great. Like, you can find faults with everything, I'm sure.
For sure.
Like, they are good. But yeah, I just feel like, say, like the bag of dick jokes with like Peacemaker and everything on the beach. I was just kind of like, sigh. Like, I didn't care for that joke, but like it just doesn't land with me. I'm like, okay.
I feel like that joke.
I assumed, like, you watching that trailer, Pagan, I assumed you would like erupted in laughter at that point.
No, oh my gosh,
but I've watched you laugh at stupider, dirtier jokes than that.
See, for
maybe
me,
it's the delivery. I don't know. It was something.
I think that don't brings home your point of like a joke that lasts too long. Because like at first it was pretty hilarious. I was like, good hearty chuckle. And then it kept going. And I was like, okay, it's not funny anymore.
Yeah, I see. That's the thing. I think maybe that's just what the characters. Now, look, maybe in context and the whole thing in the film, maybe it'll be like building up to a really tense moment, and then that moment will be like a nice comic relief. Yeah. But yeah, the only kind of moments that I did like, as I said in the show, was the Idris Elba moment where he was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake," because that is so like. It's also British humor as well, and I thought that's great.
British humor is my most favorite.
Yeah, and Harley Quinn, like, just come on,
so good.
Come on, like. I fucking love Harley Quinn. I think she's just great. I love the way she is. I love who she is.
The kitty again.
Kitty Cam.
Kitty!
She's walking around meowing at me because she doesn't like it when I talk.
She's adorable. What's her name?
She's telling you to shut up.
Her full name is Valerie, but her name's Val.
Well, Valerie, welcome to the show. Oh my God, she said hello.
She's like, you're talking. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I'm about to make best friends with your cat.
Dude,
thank you so much for being our special guest today, Val.
Thanks, Val. You're such
a pleasure to have you.
Your insights.
That's what she thinks about James Gunn's Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
But speaking of Taika Waititi, he is listed on the IMDb, and there's no character besides his name. So rumor has it that he's potentially going to voice Starro.
Oh my gosh, that would be incredible.
Potentially, I don't know, but that would be pretty cool.
That would be hilarious.
I love his movies. Is it The Wilder People? Have you seen that movie?
Oh,
Hunt for the Wilder People?
Hunt for the Wilder People. I just watched that. That was brilliant.
That is a brilliant movie. Please go watch it.
Yeah.
If nobody's ever seen that, Taika Waititi wrote and directed that film, and it's just incredible. And it was so funny that because my mom and I really like Australian and New Zealand films because we really enjoy the humor. So like The Castle and Muriel's Wedding and stuff. So we really love all that kind of stuff. So as soon as I watched The Wilder People, I actually sent my mom a text and I was like, you have to download this movie. You have to download it, watch it, and tell me what you think because it is so good.
It was fun too watching like the different people that Taika brings in, because it was the lady who was the like child protective services lady.
Oh, yes.
Was in Thor Ragnarok. She was like the second hand to the Grand Master.
Yeah, he reuses a lot of actors.
Oh my gosh.
Same really with James.
Brilliant.
But yeah.
It's great.
I don't know. I like this. Like the particular movie looks very interesting, and I'm excited that Tyke is also listed on the cast. Not knowing who the character is just yet, could be Starro.
Interesting.
Could be Starro.
That would be so great.
Yeah, it looks like a good movie.
I had another little tidbit on James Gunn that I wanted to discuss here because we were talking about like his involvement in some of the things that he's done. He also co-wrote and made a video game called Lollipop Chainsaw. If you've never heard of this game, it's fucking bananas. I've got a little snippet here about the game. It came out in, I think, 2012. It was developed by Suda51, who is a legendary game designer. It's a comedy, horror, action, hack and slash video game developed by Grasshopper Manufacturers. It came out on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. And it starred Tara Strong as the lead character. And if you want to see it, here it is right here.
The lead character oh my god, you have it.
Oh, of course incredible. I have this game.
Of course you have this game. She even kind of looks like Harley in a way. You know, like the pigtails.
That was one of the reasons I wanted to mention this, is she's very Harley Quinn.
She's very Harley Quinn. Why does she have a head on the back of her skirt?
That's her boyfriend. In the plot in the game is her boyfriend is about to meet her parents, and then a zombie apocalypse breaks out, and he dies. He gets turned into a zombie, but to save him, she cuts off his head and somehow preserves it and keeps it alive. So his head keeps talking to you while you play the game.
He's the original Savior.
So yeah, it's bonkers. Suda51 is bonkers. James Gunn is bonkers. So it's a perfect match.
That sounds hilarious. And it's very Harley Quinn vibe. The whole, like, I'm looking at screenshots and everything. It's so Harley Quinn. So that's clearly an influence there. And if Tara Strong's involved, you know it is.
Yeah, it's basically Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but with zombies and just James Gunn writing it. So.
Oh my gosh.
Clever.
Yeah,
it looks interesting. Awesome. I didn't know he wrote a game. That's interesting.
Yeah. I had no idea. Dang, that's cool.
Yeah, it was like when I heard that James Gunn was attached to it, I was like, oh, I gotta check this game out.
Oh yeah, you're obligated.
Pretty much. All right, before we close out the show, we just want to do our weekly website article shout out. The website for retroreplayshow.com features articles written by replayers. They are volunteer contributors for the website. And this week, we're going to be talking about an article called Missed Gems in Gaming, Singularity by the Jen Miller, friend of the show. Jen talks about the shooter game that was released in 2010 and that you may have missed this game. And maybe it's a classic that you feel got overlooked if you ever played it yourself. She goes into some good detail about what the game was, the concept, the story, why it was worth checking out, and why you might want to go back and check out this game that's now 11 years old.
Interesting. I've never played that game.
I hadn't either. Yeah, so I started reading the article, and like one of the first things that she quotes is like, not a spoiler, it's time travel. And I was like, ooh, this piques my interest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This was one of those games that I remember. I was working at GameStop at the time when this game came out, and I remember seeing that game and thinking, oh, that looks really cool. And I like the developer Ravensoft. So I was like, one of these days I'll check it out, because, when you work at GameStop, you're able to like borrow games essentially. So you can play them and get experience with them. So you're able to talk about them. And I did that with numerous games over the time that I was there. And I think I did check this game out, and I played maybe the first level, and it didn't grab me right away, but it is probably because I was just distracted by too many games. And this was also the time when a lot of like clone shooters came out around the same time, and there was a lot of crap essentially that came out. But after reading her article, I'm like, I might want to give this one another look. So
yeah,
it's interesting.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
I definitely want to check it out now.
Me too.
Yeah. And if you just want to hear about that game, go read Jen's article on the website.
At retroreplayshow.com.
Boom.
Bam.
Bam.
Bam. All right, folks, that's going to wrap it up for us today. The closing of the Replayer podcast. Before we go, Erika, do you have anything you want to share, or just tell people where they can find you?
I do. So I am a part of 2 TTRPG stuff, I guess. Stuff.
Media.
So
Yeah.
yeah, media. That's a great way. So I'm part
Thank you.
of.
You're welcome.
You can have that.
So first, I'm with Level 1 Geek. I'm one of their cast members. We test out and play all sorts of different kinds of TTRPGs from indie developers to give them a kind of a highlight. And then I started my own podcast called The Lettuce In. Very punny.
Great.
I love it. It's so good. I love the pun.
It's so great. And so our first season ended beginning of April, I think. And then we officially start season 2 on May 6th. We're actually doing a live stream of the world creation of Arium.
Ooh.
And so if people are there in chat talking about it, they can actually help build the world. So chat will be involved.
Cool.
Other
Some
than
live
that,
contributions.
yes. And that's what makes it, that's what's going to make it so much fun. It's going to be chaotic and it's going to be great. But you can really find me anywhere under the name Ondoin.
Undoing.
Ondoin.
Did you catch that, Nolan? That's how you say it.
Yeah.
You can do this, Eric, like so right there at
It's for
Undoing.
Cornish.
Yeah.
Like,
Ondoin. Yeah, but that's me.
All right, Pagan.
oh, you can find me the usual places at Pagan Plays on Twitter and at Pagan_plays on Twitch and Instagram.
Fantastic. And of course, I am Stark Evash on Twitter and Stark Evil Vash on every other platform you might find me. And just wanted to say, if you have any questions for Retro Replay, whether it regards membership or perks and other things like that, you can email members@retroreplayshow.com, where you can pester Pagan because she's the one that reads those emails.
No way.
Well, I mean, it's Drew and me, but
Yeah.
it's mostly me.
And
Speaking
if you
of,
want to pester,
I got my retro.
oh, nice.
Hey, you got
There
your
you go.
12-month badge.
It's about time, Pagan.
If any of the visual, I know, if any of the visual listeners, and if the
Visual.
people watching on YouTube right now, you can see the replayer badge that was sent over to Ondoin, Erika,
I
for
like-
being a member over 12 months. You can get this
Yay.
if you don't know, by the way. This is just a PSA for all of you members out there that have been with us for over 12 months. If you've been a paying member on YouTube for 12 months or more, please make sure that you fill out the form that is listed in the membership tab on Retro Replay Show
Yes.
YouTube, and then we can then get your information and send you one of those pins. If you have any questions about it, members@retroreplayshow.com.
I like visual listeners. I'm going to use that
Visual
from now on.
listeners.
Visual listeners.
I mean, that makes sense sometimes.
It
because
does.
I have podcasts on in the background sometimes,
Yeah.
but I like to have them on YouTube.
Me too.
Mhm. So our visual listeners,
So
if you want to
stupid.
come onto the
Oh,
Replayer
it's late.
Podcast, or if you have questions for us here, you can send us an email at thereplayerpodcast@gmail.com. And I don't think we have anything else to plug, so
That's it.
that's it. That's game over, folks. Goodbye.
Bye.